Good evening and good morning. Today I'm very happy to welcome Justina and Jamie. They are co-starring in Green Goddesses, Take New York, in Unchained TV. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for having us.
We're doing
Uh,
well.
First, I want to start with Justina. Before this series, I want to know a little bit about your background until this series came along on Unchained TV.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, I'm also a New Yorker like Jamie is, and I'm an actress. And through acting, whenever I was part of productions, I found myself wanting to be more active in animal activism. And so I asked for vegan makeup, vegan hair products, and that kind of led me down the path of meeting Jamie. I was asked to speak at National Animal Rights Day in New York City, and Jamie was also one of the speakers. And we ended up meeting and we kept on collaborating on many different projects, and it led us to just have the show Green Goddesses.
Great, great. And Jamie, tell me a little bit before Green Goddesses. What can you tell me about your work?
Sure, yeah. So I have been an animal rights activist for the past 8 years. And it started off with going to different protests and Anonymous for the Voiceless Cubes, which are basically grassroots activism techniques where we stand in public places with standard practices of what happens to animals. Like we play the footage on a TV screen. And
Mhm.
that led me to then going to slaughterhouse vigils. And from there, it really lit a fire underneath me, looking at the animals in the eyes, like moments before they were taken inside the slaughterhouse. And from there, I got into documentary filmmaking, and my skill sets in filming and editing led me to create my YouTube channel and podcast, Jamie's Corner. And I interviewed Justina actually on my podcast, and we just had such good chemistry and really hit it off after National Animal Rights Day. And from there, PETA had asked me to host their podcast, Just So You Know. And I said I would love to, and I know a really good co-host. And so Justina and I started that show together, and that led us into the reality TV series Green Goddesses Take New York.
How many episodes so far?
So far, it's just one episode, but
Mm.
we are in the works on creating at least two more, and hopefully, we can create more than three. That's the goal.
Mhm. And you are both vegan yourselves.
Yes, I believe Jamie and I went vegan around the same time. I went vegan in 2018, officially vegan. But since I was like 15 years old, I was battling my intrusive thoughts in society and wanting to be vegetarian. I didn't even know about veganism until
Yeah.
roughly about 2016, 2017.
Mhm. I'm half vegan, meaning I can eat fish and chicken, maybe meat, but if I find the bone or anything like that, I cannot eat, really. This is happening to me.
Oh no, well, you just have to remember that all animals, I'm pretty sure all
Yeah.
animals have bones. So whether or not it's in the meal that you're eating doesn't mean that it didn't have bones and it wasn't alive.
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct. Tell
And
me, yes, go ahead,
yeah,
Jamie.
and just to kind of put it out there, it's like we nowadays have so many other alternatives and options, and it's kind of like when you know better, you do better. And fish was, I regret my non-vegan days so much, and I wish that I had changed
Mhm.
sooner. And going
Yeah.
pescatarian first was like I guess a stepping stone for me, but really like ethically aligning with the message. Like Justina and I can eat anything we want to eat. We can eat fish. We can eat cows, but we choose deliberately not to because of the
Mhm.
harm that it causes to them. And
Mhm.
we can do it, anybody can.
Yes. You know, when you said slaughterhouse right now, I remembered a short documentary I've seen. It was on a DVD of a film I bought once. It's a French documentary called Blood of the Beasts. Okay.
Mm.
You can look it up. It's called in French Leçon de Bête,
I actually
and
might have that.
and it's a documentary taken place. It was shot in horses slaughterhouses in Paris, 1949. Okay, and I really it is a strong documentary. It was done black and white at the time, maybe 16 millimeter, and it was on a DVD as an extra of a feature film I bought once. So you reminded me of this, and I want to ask you about the show. You co-wrote it yourself together.
Well, it's a reality show, so it's pretty much
Mhm.
real. It's pretty much
Let's
what
go.
you see is what's really happening. We kind of
Mhm.
have an idea of a structure of what our day is going to look like, so we have a basic flow. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's unscripted. It's unscripted.
Script. But I've seen some interviews of the. I saw the episode, and also I want to know in your own words your experience shooting in New York. We were in New York last year, me and my wife, and during Tribeca Festival. I come regularly to for the festival, and I want to know your experience with the people in the subway and in Washington Square and Times Square. I don't know where did you go as well. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so New York is always, as you know, it's filled with adventure. There are constantly art installations and protests and amazing things happening. And it's such a great city to have that freedom of speech. And
Yes.
in a way, it kind of makes the actions that we do a little bit more difficult because we have to stand out amongst the chaos. So when Justina and I were planning this action, we decided to do a live body painting demo that day. And
Mhm.
the reason we decided to do that was because we were like, okay, this we think can stand out amongst some of the other things that might be going on in the park. But then when we got to Times Square for the yoga class that we were taking, dressed as the salmon and the tuna, we were totally lost in a sea of characters. Like there was Donald Duck and like Lilo and Stitch and the shrimp man outside of Bubba Gump Shrimp. And then there's us dressed as the fish, the two fish. And I'm like, okay, so how do we stand out? But we did stand out in the yoga class. So New York is
Definitely.
amazing for that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you feel like one of the people. Everyone is like Jamie said, a little character. So
Mhm.
it was easy, but also very different because people are just doing it just because they're doing it. We actually had intention and purpose behind this, what seemed like a crazy act. We had intention because we just wanted people to stop, maybe ask us some questions like what the heck it is that we were doing. And we were able to tell them that we're trying to raise awareness to what
Mhm.
happens to the fish and
Uh,
all the animals.
sure. There were a lot of animal activists in the history of arts in the United States and France. I remember Brigitte Bardot as well used to be one of the greatest French actresses. But I want to ask you, do you think comedy is easy, when you approach activism?
I think there's so many different ways to approach activism, and it depends what it is. I think animal rights in particular and the food system is an issue that most people don't want to touch on. So a lot of
Mhm.
people want to turn away, look away, stay in the dark. And so we as activists have to ask, how do we get people to look at things that they don't want to see? And I think that humor and comedy is one of the strategies that we use, but it's not the only strategy that we use. So
Yeah.
I think through relatability and through just my dynamic with Justina, it's something
Yeah,
that people can look into and get a window into this message.
for sure. Jamie and I are very lucky, like just us together, which is why Jane asked us to do a reality show. Jamie and I together, we are very similar but very different. And so there's this natural comedic essence around us. So it's just like the perfect match between like just who she and I are together along with our mission and message that we want to convey
Hmm.
to the people. So it's like we're seriousness, but we're very silly, unserious people, but we get down to business at the same time. So I think it's a good combination.
Hmm. I don't know if you have seen the documentary Super Size Me. You remember or heard about it?
I do remember
Yeah.
about that. That's about the guy eating McDonald's every day, right? For every meal.
Yes, actually, he is a great director. He passed away right now, but I met him in Dubai with my
Mm.
wife. His name is Morgan Sparlock, and he did a sequel, The Super Size Me, called Holy Chicken, about the chicken industry in the US. And it's really it makes me sad about the little chickens. Because sometimes they walk on them, squashing them in the where they raise chicken. It's crazy. First time about this, and he came to Dubai Festival and presented the film. I
Mm.
think the two films were great as well. I don't know as well if you have seen a classic film called Soiling Green. Have you seen it?
I've heard a lot about it. Everybody talks about it because it really does convey like a vegan message without trying.
Yes.
Mm.
Soiling Green was a classic sci-fi film with shot in Houston.
Oh, never
And
never heard of it.
yes, and it takes place, by the way, in New York, as far as I remember. But it is in the future and a lot of global warming, and there are no corpse. Okay, so he is one, like he's some kind of a special agent, and working like in enforcing the law. And people, if you see the film, most of them they are old people, and trucks passes by and throw them food, because there is no food to sell and buy, and people looks worse than zombies. And at the end of the film, he discovers that this food is human.
Mm.
And there is a great classic word at the end. He says, "Soiling green is people."
Mm.
This is how the movie
Mm.
ends. So it's a very great film. It's about as well. People that can turn into cannibalism if they cannot find food.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
It
So I
sounds
think.
really interesting.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
huge disconnect between the animals that we're eating, and we are so entitled as human beings to look at them as less than or as resources for us. But what veganism does is it causes us and allows us to rethink our mindset around this and look at animals instead as individuals as opposed to resources. And this
Mhm.
idea of domination and that we own and can take anything we want from this planet, it's not going to sustain us. Like
Mhm.
at the end of the day, if we need to think about how we can be in service to others
Yeah.
and in service to the planet.
Mhm.
The idea of domination, just because we think we're at the top, it shouldn't mean that we should just take everything and destroy everything underneath us. In fact, I think it's the opposite. We should instead protect those that are
Mm.
weaker than us or more vulnerable.
Right. And in
Mhm.
fact, they're not weaker. And it's crazy like you bringing up that movie. I'm totally gonna check it out because
I think.
oftentimes since we're
Mhm.
at a very young age, we
Mhm.
are being told that the humans are in fact the enemy. The humans are the reason for destruction and chaos,
Mhm.
and we often pay for those consequences, and we watch these movies, we see these art pieces, and yet no one changes their behavior. No one sees like the reality in these films, like even like cartoons, we're like, oh, we love the animals, yet we end up eating them and betraying them. And I wish that people actually saw what they are watching and processed it and digested it and go and went, you know what, I felt a certain way when I watched this, and I'm not going to continue that same behavior because that's really what it is. Like, we're watching life on screen and then forgetting that we have control over our own lives, and we don't change. And we get surprised when you know, we are in a climate crisis and there's so much violence and disease and the rumors that maybe we are eating humans. It's like, hello, we've been taught this through entertainment, but yet we're not taking it seriously. I wish people would just take it seriously.
Well said.
Yes. Tell me about your experience, both of you, in filming in New York. Anything wild happened to you? Especially you were doing body painting.
Yeah, it's well, a lot happened. The first thing was just that the body paint artist canceled on us the night before we were supposed to film.
Yes.
And so it caused us to have to scatter and find somebody else. And thank God we managed to. But it was very stressful that week.
That was very stressful.
Because we have a lot of people relying off of us. Like, we knew we were going to do this body painting demo, so we hired a videographer to shoot it. And what are they going to shoot if we don't have anybody body painting us? So Justina and I were like, do we have to paint each other? Like, this might get weird.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. So yeah, and then it's like we have to look like a salmon and a tuna as well. Yeah. So it's not like we just paint each other blue and green.
Right. We needed an actual artist. And then when we went on the subway, I was trying to be silly and act like one of those subway performers, like scream out "Showtime," and this woman just lost it and kind of threw me off because I didn't know how to react because we were still filming, and she was just a crazy, angry lady.
She was having a bad day.
She was, and I was making it worse, allegedly.
But the fish are the ones that have the bad day in the end. Like, her eardrums are okay. The fish are the ones that literally have their limbs torn off of them and their skin cut open.
Yeah.
But tell me, do you think you would like to shoot other episodes in other parts of the United States as well?
For sure. I mean, not to, we are. We're not going to give the details specifically where, but that is the plan. Jamie and I, we love to travel. And if we get to travel and spread the word about what's happening to these animals, I mean, that's just a dream come true. I mean, we're so lucky right now. We got nominated for a Webby Award, which is a very high honor, one of the highest honors you can get for the internet, and as well as a Telly Award, which is another prestigious award we can win. So super exciting news. We had no idea. We had the lowest budget you can think of to film this. We were just running on passion, urgency with what's happening with the animals, and just because we like to hang out with each other. But we had no idea that something so suddenly was going to come out of it. So we are hoping that a lot of people can support us. We have until April 16th for the Webby Awards to get as many votes as possible. We're literally running against like big household names like Jimmy Fallon, A$AP Rocky, Bella Hadid, you know, and the Telly Awards we have until April 17th to make it to the next round.
Yes, this episode, the premiere, when it did premiere, the first episode.
I don't know the exact premiere date.
It lives on Unchained TV. So Unchained TV is an amazing media network where lots of documentaries, TV shows, newscasts live. And the beautiful part about Unchained TV is it's like a Netflix, except for a compassionate message. So a lot of plant-forward, vegan, compassionate projects live on that media network.
Yes, and I think it's free to watch because I watched the episodes without paying, like Tubi TV, I think, and Plex.
It's free for everyone. Yes.
Yes. So I want to ask you, fans of your work right now, this show, how do you think they can support your mission?
Well, definitely they could support us right now. If you're watching right now or anytime before April 16th, please go to either It's Jamie's Corner or at Justina or at Unchained TV. We have our links up to vote. Right now, we want that the most is to vote for us for the Webby Awards and the Telly Awards.
Yes, This is
And
great.
Webby and I also have a podcast called Just So You Know that she brought
Yes.
up. You can follow that as well.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And also go vegan.
Yes.
And the podcast is on which platform? On Spotify or where can we find it? On Spotify?
On all platforms where podcasts exist. And
Mhm.
we have a season 1 up there, and season 2 will be dropping very soon. So catch up on season 1 and get ready for season 2. It's going to be wild.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, I want to thank you both, Justina and Jamie, for this interview. I wish you all the best for the nomination and the awards, and I look forward for more episodes, or maybe on a bigger scale, you can take a world tour and film a big feature film, you know.
Yes. Oh, we would love that. We would love that. Please, please spread the word for us to vote. And we will definitely make more episodes with your support. Nothing is possible without the support of the people to tell everyone what we actually want to see and what we actually care about.
Yes, this is great. Thank you very much again, Justina and Jamie. Best wishes for the awards and for the upcoming episodes and all your projects.
Thank you, and good luck to you. I hope that after meeting with us, you stop eating fish and look further into these industries and go vegan.
Yes,
Why? How many more animals have to die in your name?
for sure, for sure. Yes.
Something to think about.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too.
Bye
Bye.
bye.